This is an adversary hearing. Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Ms. Williamson is with us for CASA. Mr. Barfield is with us representing the child, and Ms. Grant is with us representing the mother, Ms. Kroll. Ms. Grant, she's not in my waiting room. Were you expecting her?
Judge, I have not been able to make any contact with Ms. Kroll since this case began or was assigned to me.
Okay.
I would be glad to continue to try if I got a continuance, but I don't know if I would be any further successful than I have been.
No, I don't think. I think we're going to go ahead today. I think maybe Judge Baker's having similar experiences with the case she's got involving the same mother. So
that was my suspicion, Judge, but I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. And then we have an unknown father. I have not appointed an attorney for the unknown father, but I'll make a note and I will do so before we come back for the status hearing, assuming that we proceed after today. So, okay. Mr. Alvey, I have Constance Lane, Cassie Kopic, Brandon Hernandez, Brian Armendariz, and they are the ones in the waiting room that I can't account for.
Judge, Constance is the grandmother, and I would ask that you do not bring her in. She may be a witness, depending on how we go.
All right.
Cassie Kopic is with St. Francis Ministries. She will be a witness, Your Honor, and we would ask that you bring her in.
Okay.
Brian Hernandez is my investigator. In this case, that will be my first witness. I'll ask that you bring him in.
All right.
And then Mr. Armendariz, Brian Armendariz, is the supervisor for the investigation. So if you bring him in, please.
Okay. Okay, I believe everyone is with us now, Mr. Alvey, so you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Mr. Brandon Hernandez.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Alvey.
Mr. Hernandez, you're you're an investigator working for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Yes, sir.
In that capacity, are you familiar with the child?
Yes, sir, I am.
And how old is this child?
Did you say how old? 3 months.
Yes.
Sir.
And when did you become involved with Laney?
On October 9th.
And what were the circumstances in which you became involved?
There was concerns that Lorella Correll had relapsed with methamphetamines due to her prior case with the other two children being removed out of her home.
Is it your understanding from your report that Lorella Kroll, who is the mother to Laney, was involved in a child protective case out of Armstrong County?
Yes, sir.
And in that case, there are two older children.
Yes, sir.
And they had been returned to Ms. Kroll under a monitored return. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
And that during that monitored return, there had been some questions as to whether or not Ms. Kroll was adequately caring for her older two children.
Correct.
Is it your understanding that in that Armstrong County case that the court ordered that the children be removed from Ms. Kroll a second time and placed back in the home with the children's grandmother?
Correct.
And who is that children's grandmother?
Constance Lane.
And did you talk with Miss Lane during your investigation?
Yes, I did.
And when you talked with Miss Lane, had Miss Kroll left the child, the subject of this suit, with Miss Lane?
Yes, she did.
And is it your understanding that Miss Kroll told Miss Lane, I can't do this anymore, when she left the child in her care?
Yes, sir.
Have you talked with Miss Crane more than one time since your investigation started?
Yes.
And at any time, has Miss Crane advised you that Miss Kroll's made contact with her to find out what's going on with the kids, to help support the children, etc., since October the 9th?
Since October the 9th, I know there was communication between her and her daughter, but that dissipated within about a day or two, and we have not heard anything from her.
Have you made attempts to get hold of Miss Kroll?
Yes, I have.
Have you used the information that in the prior case, the contact information in the prior case to be able to try to find her?
Yes, sir, I have.
Have you had any luck attempting to find Miss Kroll?
No, sir, I have not heard back from her.
Have we reached out to other people who may know where Miss Kroll is to attempt to find her?
Yes.
And has anybody been able to provide you with contact information or locating information?
No, sir.
So is it your testimony today that you have not had any contact with Miss Kroll since you began investigating this case?
Let me rephrase. October 9th, I did have a phone call back from her. She had said she would call me later, and that was the last I heard. But since October 9th, I have not had any communication with her.
In that phone call, did she provide you with any additional contact information or locating information?
No, she said that she was driving and she would get back to me.
She didn't have anything else to say about this case?
No, sir. I tried to talk to her within. She said that she would just call me later so we could talk about it.
And she has not reached out to you since then?
No, sir.
Has your phone number changed?
No, sir.
In the meantime, has Miss Crane been taking care of Lainey in an adequate manner?
Yes, sir, she has.
Is she making sure that Lainey goes to all of her medical checkups as an infant?
Yes, sir. She's been on top of it.
Mr. Alley, just speaks for the record. I may not have heard you correctly. I think you're calling her Miss Crane and it's Miss Lane. So,
and I apologize, Your Honor. Miss Lane has made sure that Lainey is meeting all of her developmental milestones up to this point.
Yes, sir.
Any concerns that you have with Lainey being in Miss Lane's care?
No, sir, not at all.
Is it your understanding from your conversations with St. Francis that Miss Lane has agreed to be placement for Lainey at this time?
Yes, sir.
And you think that's in Lainey's best interest?
Yes, it is.
Have you talked with and looked at the hospital records when Lainey was born to determine if there was a named father for Lainey?
No, no father known at the time.
Have you looked at the records? Have you talked with people at the hospital to determine if Miss Kroll said who the father was?
I have not received the records yet.
If you receive records that list a father, would you provide those to me so I can provide those to the court?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness.
all right. Thank you. Mr. Hernandez, would it be a continuing danger to the physical health and safety of Lainey to be returned to her mother today?
Yes, it would, Your Honor.
Would it be contrary to Lainey's welfare to be returned to her mother today?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Ms. Grant, questions?
Mr. Hernandez, are you personally aware of whether or not the time and date of today's hearing was provided to the mother?
I am not aware of if
Okay.
she had received this information.
Okay. Do you still text her whether or not you receive any replies?
Yes, I still call her and text her.
Okay. And are you still getting voicemail, or in other words, is that number still functioning as far as you can tell?
Yes, my messages show delivered.
Okay. And you're getting no replies?
No replies.
Okay. So if my office texted that phone number with the time and date of this hearing, would you expect that that would be the correct contact information?
Yes, it would go through.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Barfield?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
All right. All right then.
Oh, I do have one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is Lainey placed with her sisters with Miss Lane?
Lainey is placed with maternal grandmother.
Maternal grandmother. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are the two older siblings, are they also with maternal grandmother?
Yes, Your Honor. They're
Okay.
placed there as well.
All right. I think that's what Mr. Barfield was asking about.
Yeah, and
yes,
Judge,
sorry about that.
yeah, it was, Judge. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right then. If there's nothing further of Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Alley, did you have any other witnesses?
I do, Your Honor. I would call Miss Cassie Topic.
Okay.
and she is placed with Miss Lane.
Yes.
And Laney's sisters are also placed in that home.
Yes.
And you are and have been monitoring the sisters' case.
Yes.
And Miss Lane was, for most of that case, was the primary placement for the two older sisters.
Yes.
And are you comfortable with Laney being in the home with Miss Lane and the sisters?
Yes.
Have you been in that home?
Yes.
Is Miss Lane capable of taking care of all three children?
Yes.
As a permanency specialist, is it your responsibility to attempt to contact Miss Laura L. Kroll concerning the older two children?
Yes.
Have you had contact with Miss Kroll since the court in the Armstrong County case removed the two girls from Miss Kroll's care?
I had contact with her that day after we had court on the 9th. I talked to her on the phone.
What was her response when the court ordered the children to be placed back in Miss Lane's home?
She was upset and she said that I was a liar.
Okay. And were you present when she brought Miss Laney to Miss Lane's house?
No.
Have you talked with Miss Lane about what Miss Kroll's attitude was when Miss Kroll brought Laney to Miss Crane?
Not specifically that, but I've talked to Connie about, Lori was very upset about, the kids being removed, but not anything specifically about her dropping off Laney.
Do you know what day it was that Miss Kroll dropped Laney off at Miss Lane's house?
I think it was on that Thursday, but I'm not 100% sure because I was not working those 2 days.
Okay. Since that time, since that date, in that one conversation you had on the phone with Lori Kroll, have you had any other contact with Miss Kroll?
No, when I talked to Lori on the phone, I did make arrangements to go see her that following Monday. But then when I went to her house, she wasn't there. And then I went by again on Sunday of this week and she also wasn't there. And then I've texted her.
And has she responded to any of your texts?
No.
Did you give Lori Kroll today's date and hearing from your office so that she knew that this hearing was coming?
No, I didn't talk to her.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Kopic. I'll pass it.
All right. Ms. Kopic, you may or may not know the answer to this, but it's my understanding that in the Armstrong County case involving Laney's two older sisters, Ms. Kroll has failed to drug test twice when court ordered. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. Grant, questions?
Ms. Kopic, have you received any updates to contact information from Lori in the last 2 to 3 weeks?
No, she still has the same phone number to my knowledge.
So if the date and time of this hearing were communicated to her from our office, you would expect that those numbers were correct to contact her?
Yes.
Pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Barfield.
I have no questions, and I can confirm for the court too. I mean, I'd lied in that other case, and what the court asked was exactly correct.
Okay. Thank you. All right. All right, Mr. Albee, any other witnesses?
Just briefly, Your Honor, I'd call Miss Connie Lane.
Okay. All right. We've just lost her.
Judge, she was not a vital. Well, there she is. Can you hear us, Miss Lane?
Can you hear me? Oh, good.
Okay. All right, Miss Lane, this is Judge Graham. If you'd raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
If you'd state your name for the court reporter, please.
Constance Lane.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Albee, you may proceed.
Miss Lane, the testimony prior to you being called as a witness was that you are the grandmother to Lainey. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are the mother to Lori Kroll,
Yes.
and you are the placement for Lainey and Lainey's sisters.
Yes, I am.
And all three of those children are currently in your care.
Yes, sir.
And are you able to manage the care of all three children at this time?
Yes, sir.
Is St. Francis Ministries continue to work with you to make sure that any services that you need or that the children may need are being taken care of?
Yes.
How did Lainey get into your care?
About October the 10th, Lori brought her to me because she had to go to work. And so I met her in Washburn. I picked up Lainey. And then that evening, Brandon from the CPS got a hold of me and spoke with me that she, I guess in the other two girls' court case, that she was required to go take a drug test that she did not go take. And she didn't know about it because she didn't go to that court hearing. And so that opened up an investigation with Lainey, and then Brandon told me not to send her back. And he brought me papers.
Okay. When Lori brought you Lainey, did she say anything to you?
Not really, no. She I had already picked the other two girls up from excuse me, from where they stay while I'm at work after school. And she just told me that Lainey was in the back seat, and she put a box of diapers in my back seat. She gave her her middle child a hug, and she really didn't say anything else.
Has Miss Kroll reached out to you at all since then?
She's contacted me by text a few times. Twice she's asked me if Lainey needed diapers or formula, and then I didn't ever hear anything from her. And then, excuse me, she asked me if I was at home a few times. Last night I got a big text from her blaming me for all of this that's going on. Each time I try to redirect her back to, have you called Brandon? Have you contacted anybody? She told me that she hadn't got any phone calls from anybody except for Brandon that one time.
Well,
but other than that, I really haven't.
Okay.
Do what?
Let me ask you this: Is Lori's phone number still the same phone number?
Yes, because there's a woman named Keisha that was trying to set up a visit like a day or two after I had Lainey here, and I made sure with her that they were calling the right number.
Okay. And but Lori's not made an effort to come see Lainey in person?
No, she's asked me a few times if I was at home, but either I was at work or she did say that she was twice that she was gonna go get her some stuff, and then I didn't hear from her. She's never asked me about the other girl.
Okay, has she brought you anything for Lainey?
She did. She brought and dropped it off. I work in Claude, and she dropped off a box of diapers and the base to her car seat at a friend's house over there.
Do you, as Lori's mother, have concerns about Lori's lifestyle?
I do.
What are those concerns?
Well, my concerns are, she's only had the other two girls back in her care for 3 months because I had them a year prior to that. And the oldest granddaughter was telling me that she, she stayed with the baby sometimes at night, which, is not illegal, but, if she's got school the next day, you don't want her to have to be doing things like that. Most of the time she would bring them over here for me. I'd keep them on the weekends and, give her a break or whatever. So she won't keep a job. And every time something like this happens, it always turns out to be my fault. I have rent houses. I let her stay in the rent house because of the kids. But
do you know if she uses illegal substances?
I don't know that for a fact, but I have my suspicions.
And what do you suspect that she uses?
Well, before, she would never come out and say that she was using anything, but after the fact, she would, say, kind of skirt around it. But I think that she's a meth user. I don't know that she is now, but there's got to be a reason, because in the text that we've had back and forth here lately, I specifically bring it back around to all you had to do was go do your hair follicle. And she's kind of blaming St. Francis for going in there and lying about different things. I don't know what was said there. But she steers the conversation away from that without touching on it.
Thank you, Miss Lane. I'll pass it.
All right. Miss Lane, just for the court reporter to be sure, your daughter's actual name is Laurella,
Yes.
Laurella,
Yes.
but she goes by Laura.
Lori.
Lori. How does she spell Lori?
Lori.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Miss Grant, questions?
Ma'am, have you had any knowledge of a change of contact information for Lori?
No, she's still texting me from the same phone number.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge of whether or not she knew there was a hearing today?
I don't know. She texted me last night a bunch of hateful stuff, and I didn't text her back. I found out about yesterday afternoonish, but I didn't tell her. I didn't text her back.
Thank you so much. Pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Barfield.
Ma'am, you currently have placement with the older children. How old are they for this court's benefit?
Brianna is 15 and Cameron is 7.
And Brianna goes to Claude High School, is that correct?
Yes.
And those children, were you aware that part of the reason those children are back in your care is based on my recommendation? Do you understand that?
No, I didn't have any idea.
Okay. Well, I'm the ad litem for the kiddos, both this child and the other children. And were you aware that one of the reasons for removal was for your daughter failing to drug test?
Yes, I was aware of that after.
Okay. And were you advised, or did you learn either from your daughter or from any other source that not only was she leaving Lainey alone with the 15-year-old, she was leaving them alone overnight with the oldest daughter not having any idea where mom was? Were you aware that was going on?
I was not aware of that until after all this, after the girls were brought back here. And my granddaughter had the older one brought some concerns. She just said, basically said things weren't going good, but she wouldn't give me any details. And I told her to talk to her CASA worker,
right,
because I would be like a third party person. So,
right.
I wasn't aware of that until after the fact.
Okay. And now after the fact, you're also aware that she was bringing around various strange men into their home that the daughters didn't know, and nobody knew who these men were or why they were there. Were you aware of that after the fact?
After the fact, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, currently, you understand that you are having no problem and you don't have any concerns with the placement of the 3 girls in your care. Is that correct?
No, I have no problem with that.
Okay. And quite frankly, based on the lifestyle that Lori's living right now, would you have some serious concern about the safety of these 3 girls?
I do, because I know that she loves the girls, and it doesn't make sense if I say she's a good mom, because, they don't go without that kind of thing. But, the things that you've mentioned definitely don't need to be going on. I'm just...
Okay. And you do know that anytime you have any issues, you can reach out to the department and to St. Francis or CASA or myself anytime you need anything. You understand that, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at this time, do you think placement back with mom would be a danger to the girls based on the information you've learned at this point?
Yes, most definitely.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Anyone else have further questions for Miss Lane? No. Miss Lane, Laney's doing fine physically?
Yes. Yes. She's gaining weight. She's getting tall. Sleeps all night.
Okay. Sounds like she's in a good placement. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Alley, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I'll rest.
All right, thank you. Ms. Grant, any witnesses? You're muted.
No, Your Honor, no witnesses.
Thank you, Mr. Barfield.
Just a recommendation, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
That recommendation is that the department be named temporary managing conservator. Placement continue with Miss Lane in her home and with her sisters. That's my recommendation, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ms. Williamson, Casa?
We agree with Mr. Barfield.
Okay. Miss Lane, as far as you know, where is your daughter residing? What town?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
Her stuff still at the rent house over here. But she hasn't been there since probably right before I got Lainey
Okay, where's over here?
in Clarendon.
Okay. All right then, thank you. All right, then I will continue the department's temporary manager conservator, continue Laney's current placement. Mr. Alvey or whoever might know, where do you typically send people in Donnelly County to drug test?
I'm not sure if it would be easier to go to Amarillo or Pampa, Your Honor. Cassie, do you have an opinion?
We usually send her to Care Express. That was her preference.
Okay, all right. All right, then I will also order that Ms. Kroll both hair strand and UA drug screen by 4 p.m. today at Care Express. All right, our next hearing will be the status hearing. That will be on December 6th, 2024. It will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of December 6th to see exactly what time that hearing will take place. Okay, we'll stand in recess on this case. I'll be back here very shortly to call a Gray County case. That's an initial permanency hearing in a breakout room first. So let me get that opened. Okay, I think everybody's back. All right, I will call Gray County case. This is an initial permanency hearing. Mr. Graff is with us for the department. Casa, Miss Williamson's with us for Casa. Miss Grant's with us representing the child. Miss Rudd is with us representing the intervenor, Barbara Tennyson. I think she's with you, correct, Miss Rudd?
Yes, it's right with me.
Okay, Miss Archer's with us representing the mother. Miss Schechter, who's with us. Mr. Nowak's with us representing the father, Mr. Craddock, and I show that he's incarcerated in Potter County. Is that correct, Mr. Nowak?
That's correct, Judge. And on the 17th of this month, you signed an order to appear, and I got that over to the jail that day, and he's not in the waiting room?
No, I don't, Potter County, I think they always show up as Potter County Sheriff. No, I've got the only person there's a Haven Doucette with St. Francis Ministries that I don't know what case she's with. Everybody else.
She's this case, Your Honor. She's my witness.
Okay. Everybody else is with the last case.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. So, no, he's not with us. For the record, I had a meeting with all the attorneys involved. We're here on an initial permanency hearing. The court's aware that Ms. Schechter, through her attorney, Ms. Archer, has filed a motion for change of placement. We've all decided that we don't have time to do that today, that it's going to be quite a detailed hearing. So we're going to reset that. Brittany, if you would, we've all decided we need probably a minimum of 2 hours to reset the hearing on the motion to change placement. So if you'll kind of be looking for a date.
Okay,
And then we'll get with you when we're through with our initial permanency hearing. So,
thank
all right,
you.
Mr. Graff, again, we're here just on the initial permanency hearing. So you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've got Haven Doucette on behalf of St. Francis. We've just got some brief permanency testimony for the record.
Okay. And for the record, I have read the report. Ms.
Okay.
Doucette, if you'd raise your right hand, do you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Graff.
And Your Honor, given that you've read the report and you've got 10 minutes to your next hearing, would you prefer to dispense with testimony and just get an update from the social worker?
Does anybody object? I mean, we can do it pretty quickly. I have read the report, so you don't need to go over anything that was in the report.
Okay.
No objection.
No objection.
Okay.
No.
Then let's just kind of, if there's anything we need to update, Ms. Doucette, since you're writing to the report, we can talk about that. Otherwise, I'll let anybody question you that wants to. So is there anything you need to add after your report?
No, sir, I don't have any updates from the report.
Okay, from what I read, basically Jacob is thriving in Miss Tennyson's care. Is that correct?
Yes, he's doing very well with her.
Okay, all of Jacob's many medical needs are being met.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Your Honor, I just have one question for this Ms. Doucette, because I'm not sure it was in the report. We discussed this yesterday. If she could just alert the court to the status of the ICPC home study that had been previously court ordered.
Yes, we did receive a letter up from the ICPC. It stated that we will need Ms. Schechter and her spouse Richard to go to the state of California, the courthouse, and collect their arrest records or criminal history checks and any history that they have with the department in California or any other state that they've lived in, and provide that to us, as we're unable to get that from California to complete the ICPC.
And this is the ICPC on mom, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically it's still pending. We don't have results.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And just for the court's record, that had been ordered at the end of the temporary order of the adversary hearing.
Okay. All right. I've made a note of that. So, all right, then I'll just go down the list real quickly. Miss Archer, do you have any questions that you need to ask Ms. Doucette for today's purpose?
I do. I just had one question about visitations. Since Miss Schechter and Miss Tennyson don't have the best relationship, it makes visits difficult when Miss Tennyson is present for them. I wondered if the court could order just the nurse to be there without Miss Tennyson present for those visitations to be more pleasant.
Okay. I read that. I don't have a problem with that as long our visitations taking place when Jacob's getting care from another nurse besides Miss Tennyson. I read he's got 24/7 care. So
He does, Your Honor, and he does have 24/7 care. We are a little concerned though that Miss Schechter has canceled multiple visits. And so again, Miss Tennyson is more than happy to go about her business, but we are a little concerned, about making significant accommodations when she's not even exercising the visitation she's been given.
well, are you doing it by Zoom?
Yes.
And is it taking place in Miss Tennyson's home?
Yes.
Okay. And during that visitation time, is it the same time each week or however often?
Yes, sir. It's on Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m.
Okay. And is there a nurse other than Miss Tennyson present at 8 a.m. on those 2 days?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I don't think that's necessarily unreasonable as long as, Jacob's got care from a nurse being there. So for however long those visits are, I will order that Miss Tennyson step out of the room. She'll be available if some emergency were to happen, obviously, but let's just try to keep everybody happy and let's do it that way. So.
And my understanding, Judge, was that some of that was because that we discussed in the last hearing about Miss Tennyson's schedule changing for her work. So sometimes the visits are canceled on her part, was what I thought.
Okay,
We
well,
never cancel the visit.
if they're set at specific times, then we'll just leave it as it is. And again, I'll just order that Miss Tennyson step out of the room during those Zoom visits. So. All right, then, Mr. Nowak, anything we need to deal with your client today?
No questions, Judge. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Rudd, anything else?
No. I have lots of questions to ask, but most of them relate to the motion to move. So we'll wait.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Grant, anything as far as today's hearing?
Just a recommendation, Judge.
Okay, go ahead.
I recommend that placement continue as safe and appropriate. Jacob is doing well. I have not had any struggles working with placement or getting information that I need. I would just suggest that if either party needs to cancel, that they give as much advance notice to the other party as they could in order to work together.
All right, I think that's a good idea. Okay. All right, Ms. Williamson, anything Casa needs to add today?
We have nothing else.
Okay. All right, thank you. Give me just a second. All right, then I will continue the department as temporary manager and conservator, continue Jacob's current placement. I'll order that Ms. Tennyson not be present in the room during Ms. Schechter's virtual visits with the child. I will caveat on that, unless there was no other medical staff there to be present. And I don't want anybody trying to say, nurse, you don't need to be there today. Let's not play that game. So, okay. Brittany, have you come up with anything for a 2 hour, maybe 2 hour plus hearing?
Yeah, I have two options. So on the 20th of November, it's a Wednesday. I could set it at like 11:30.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm out of the state on that week.
That whole week.
Yeah, I've got a wedding and a family thing.
Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, the other one was going to be that Friday. So let me look.
And I'm sorry, but my 90-year-old mother will kill me if I don't make this trip.
No problem.
The old 90-year-old mother trick.
It just
Well, if
makes
I had a
me,
dime for every time I heard that one.
Works every time, Your Honor.
Me too. How many times?
it makes me feel better that somebody else is afraid of their geriatric parents. I still believe and she's 88.
I don't tell her I'm afraid of her, though. That's the thing. I don't let her get that much leverage.
She knows.
She knows.
So we can probably do it in the afternoon on December 4th. That's also a Wednesday. It doesn't look like we have too much. I could say probably 11:30 that day as well.
That works for me.
Y'all want to do it at 11:30? And just if we're going to go that long, work through lunch, or do you want me to set it at 1 o'clock? Whatever y'all want to do works for me.
I'm flexible, whatever folks want to do.
I'm flexible.
Okay, we'll start at 11:30 then. So that'll give us. I'm Miss Red. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can. No, now I can't. Can y'all hear?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
I was
Can you
going
hear
to
me?
say that working through lunch would be good since there will be a time difference possibly for some of the doctors, and 12 o'clock for us would be 1 o'clock for them.
Okay. So
Can you hear me? Let me chat.
I can hear you now.
Okay, I have a mediation that morning.
Okay.
So
One-
11:30 might be an issue for me, but I
Okay.
should it's at the DRC, so I should be done by 1.
Okay, let's just set it for 1 to be safe. So,
Okay.
okay, then we'll go ahead and announce that. So everybody's with us today, so I'm not going to bother to send out an order, but we'll just, for the record, we will reconvene on the credit case on Wednesday, December 4th at 1 o'clock p.m. That will be for the purposes of hearing Miss Archer's motion for change of placement. Okay, appreciate y'all's working with me on the time problem today. So we'll stand in recess, and I'll see y'all back on December 4th at 1 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge.
Y'all have a good rest of your week.
You too.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, you
Permission to
too.
leave the court.
You may.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too. We are here on a motion to modify visitation plan filed by the mother's attorney, Mr. Siloff. Mr. Albie's with us for the department. Ms. Ledbetter's with us for CASA. Mr. Turner's with us representing the children. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the father, Mr. Garcia, who I don't show is with us. Mr. Michelson, were you expecting your client?
No, Your Honor, he's in custody.
Okay. Where at?
I believe in Dallam County.
Okay. Do you know what for?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. All right. And Mr. Siloff, is your client with you?
Yes, Your Honor. We have Anna Yanis with me. I also have a translator from our office, Zelaine Vasquez. And then we also have the grandparents, parents for Anna Yanis here with us.
Are they potential witnesses?
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
All right. So anybody invoking the rule?
I will not.
No? Okay. All right. So I had Mr. Perales here to interpret for us. That would be an issue because you're in the same room as they are. And that's a whole other bag of worms. But do we not need Mr. Perales to interpret today?
I think we do, Your Honor, for the
Okay.
official. Yes, Your
Right.
Honor.
Then you're going to have to get anybody that needs a Spanish interpreter in a separate room on a separate device.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I don't know how you want to do that, but we need that. We need that to happen before we go any further.
Yes, Your Honor. If she can just translate to the grandparents just what's being said, would that be okay, or do you want them in a separate room?
No, because they need to be in a separate room so that they can put their interpretation feature on Spanish, and then we won't have to listen to Mr. Peralta. We won't have to take all the time for questions to be asked. He interpret, answers to be given. He interpret.
Yes.
So We can reschedule it if you want to do it.
Oh, no, that's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, well, then we need to split them up. You need to be in a separate room than the people that need Spanish.
Yes, Your Honor.
So
Then we're
you'll need to, I guess you'll need to log on another device, and I'll watch the waiting room for you.
Oh, okay. They'll log on right now.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll give them just a minute I'll wait till someone pops up in my waiting room. All right, Mr. Siloff, I saw some people leave your office, but is your client still with you?
Yes, Anna Yanis.
I don't, that's not going to work. If she needs a Spanish interpreter, then she's going to have to be with the other people that need the Spanish interpreter.
So, we can just bring our interpreter in here, Your Honor, so she can drink whatever you would like. So,
well, I mean, you can do that if you want, but they're going to have to interpret very quietly because it's the same problem. If we have to ask questions and your interpreter has to interpret for your client, and then vice versa, we're back in the same boat.
okay. She'll interpret very quietly, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Then, now, one last thing, Mr. Siloff, I'm going to turn on the interpretation feature, and someone that's in there, Mr. Perales, do you want to talk to him, or do you want his staff to just pick Spanish for them?
That's correct.
Okay, Mr. Siloff, then I'll turn on the interpretation feature, and wherever the people are that Mr. Perales is going to interpret for, they'll see the interpretation feature and they check Spanish. That's the only one. Everybody else checks English. So,
yes, Your Honor.
If you can let your staff know to do that for them,
yes,
I will go ahead and start the interpretation feature. I don't have anyone in the waiting room. Mr. Albee, you may call your first witness. Let me stop for a second. Mr. Siloff, I read your motion. It was a little ambiguous. I assume we're here because your client's now out of jail and she's asking for visitation with the children. Is that correct?
Your Honor, that is correct.
Okay.
Her charges, we're going to show today that her charges have been dismissed. And
Okay.
we are asking today that the children be immediately placed with Anna Yanis.
All right. I thought it was just for visitation. Your motion says motion to modify the visitation plan. It doesn't say anything about placement.
Your Honor, we're just increased visitation. We will ask for that, but we're I guess that is a misstep on myself, but I'm asking for placement, whether that is with the grandparents today or with Miss Yanis today.
Well, let's take them one at a time. Does anybody object to hearing anything on placement today, since that's really not what the motion said?
I do, Your Honor. I'm not. He filed an amended motion yesterday or 2 days ago. I would ask that we be given a continuance the opportunity to prepare for that, because I don't think I've had enough time. And I was going to make that motion. And then, Your Honor, I think it's his motion. I think it's his burden to proceed with visitation.
We can agree with visitation that today, Your Honor.
All right. We'll just hear visitation today, because if I haven't even seen the amended motion. So, and if it was filed in the last day or two, then you haven't had the requisite notice to prepare, Mr. Albee. So I'll grant your motion to not take up the placement today. Let me just ask before we get started, does anybody object to mom having visitation with the children?
Your Honor, we've already began visitation with the children, and I think that's what the testimony would be. We would have an objection for unsupervised, lengthened visitation. I think it's right now it's at an hour per week, but that's where we're at.
So I guess I didn't understand. Do you have any objection to having additional supervised visitation?
We would have objections to additional supervised visits at this time. She's not began working her services.
Okay. All right. So that's the issue we'll go with today, Mr. Siloff. So if Mr. Albee's correct that your client is getting visitation, I guess your position is you want additional visitation today.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. That will proceed on that issue alone. So since it is your motion, Mr. Siloff, you can call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm going to call Anna Yanis to the stand.
All right. And you have your interpreter present for her?
Yes, she's right next to her, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Then you may proceed with your questioning.
All right. Ma'am, please state your name.
My name She hasn't been sworn, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand. Yeah.
My name is Ana Yanis.
I'm sorry, what?
My name is Ana Yanis.
I'm letting Mr. Prowse go ahead. All right, Mr. Siloff will go in there too.
Can you say that again, Your Honor?
Okay. Well, see, Mr. Siloff, that's the problem. You've got a right to have your client present, but we also have to deal with the fact that this is a virtual hearing and we've got interpreters.
Our interpreter can leave. That's okay, Your Honor. We're ready to, I mean.
Well, no, your client's not going to understand a word. If your client needs an interpreter, and it's either going to be the one that's sitting there and that's a problem, or you can go out, but you'll be on the Spanish speaking channel. That's the problem.
If she just needs to go on the Spanish speaking one and I'm in here, that's fine. We can proceed that way, Your Honor.
I didn't hear anything. For example, what?
I can stay in here and she can be on the Spanish speaking channel, Your Honor. We can do it that way.
Okay, let's do that. Send her out with the other people. And Mr. Siloff will have to do a little bit of this since you're questioning your client right now. You'll have to ask the question. Mr. Perales will have to interpret. And then Mr. Perales will have to tell us how your client answered.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead then.
Ma'am, can you please state your name?
All right. Wait a minute. Amy's got her hand up now.
We didn't finish her swearing in.
Oh, that's right. All right. Ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
She's muted. I'm just going to let them know, Your Honor. Ma'am, can you please state your name?
Mi nombre es Ana Sofía Llanes Alanis.
And Ms. Llanes, how are you involved in this suit?
Mr. Siloff, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
Did you select English on the interpretation feature where you're setting?
Oh, maybe I did not. I didn't. Would I be able to see that? I did not on this computer yet, Your Honor. If I could be resent that, then I will.
Mr. Siloff, on the interpretation feature, you click on it and it'll say to pick either English or Spanish, and you click on English.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead with the questioning.
Ma'am, how are you involved in this suit?
No entiendo la pregunta.
You're the mother
Mr.
of the
Siloff, we know
children.
she's the mother. If that's what you're getting at, let's keep it as simple as possible.
Yes, Your Honor. Recently, you were involved in a criminal case. Is that correct?
Sí.
And that case has been dismissed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to show you a document now, Ms. Llanes. Your Honor, I'm approaching the camera. And I've submitted this to the court.
I can't read it. You can tell me what it is.
It's a motion to dismiss from the district attorney's office, Your Honor.
Do you have an order?
The order is signed, the order of dismissal by Judge Allen. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you wanting to admit that or just show it to us?
To admit it, Your Honor.
All right.
No objection, Your Honor.
Let's call it Petitioner's Exhibit 1. Any objections?
No
objection.
Okay, Petitioner's 1's admitted.
Ms. Llanes, did you try to complete services while in custody?
Pregunté yo si podía hacerlo desde la cárcel, pero no tuve respuesta.
Since you've been out of custody, have you completed some services?
He ido a lo de las drogas y estuve llamando al consejero, pero no me ha contestado.
And you had recent drug tests, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was, one moment, Your Honor.
And
That
just,
was-
I'm not trying to be a pain, but can we mark it as mom's one? Because if it gets mixed in the whole case, it's going to get confusing.
I'm just used to calling it Petitioner. So yeah, we'll call this Respondent Mother's number 1. That's what I admitted.
And on October 18th, you tested negative for any type of substances, is that correct? And you are willing to do any services and any drug tests to regain your children, is that correct? You also talked about a counselor. Have you just testified that you did try to call a counselor?
Sí, he tratado de contactarlo, pero no tengo respuesta.
And have your grandparents visited the children while you were in custody?
Sí.
What did they tell you about the children?
Objection, Your Honor. Here's a
Sustain. Sustain. Go ahead, Mr. Childs. Next question.
Yes, Your Honor. Did you visit Alfredo this past week? How did that visit go?
Bien, estaba contento hasta el momento de la despedida. Decía que no se quería ir y que me necesita.
And Ms. Llanes, I've sent these to the court. 4 photos from your visit. Are these photos that you took while you were with your son? And are these accurate representations of the pictures you took?
De los niños.
Yes. Your Honor, respondent would like to admit the pictures. There are two pictures. Respondent's exhibits. We can say 2A and 2B.
All right. Objections to 2A. Respondent mothers 2A and 2B.
No objection.
No objection.
Okay. Respondent mothers 2A and 2B are admitted.
I want to show you this picture first.
What number?
This will be 2A, Your Honor.
Okay.
What did you notice from exhibit 2A when you took this picture?
Pues de las uñas de mi niño. Todos sus oídos, sus piernas estaban sin todas
Your Honor,
tenidas.
I'm going to object to the answer as irrelevant towards the
I haven't even,
issue today.
I haven't even heard her answer yet. So
Can she answer that question again, Your Honor?
Yo tengo que empezar.
ma'am, what did you notice? He asked you, what did you notice about the pictures of your son?
Que mi niño no se lava los dientes, no le cortan las uñas, dice que no se baña diario. Sus
Now,
oídos.
Your Honor, I would object as irrelevant to the visitation issue. She's still bringing up.
Sustain that. That's a question for a change of placement.
And are you, Ms. Giannis, are you asking for more visitation time to take care of your children? And you will visit them anytime that you can visit your children? And during the visit, though, he said did your son say he wanted to visit you more?
Ask your question again.
Did your son want to visit you more?
No quería que me fuera.
To bring up also a video I sent to the court titled video.move when I submitted it to the court, Your Honor. Do you recognize this video that I'm showing you, Ms. Giannis? And what is this video?
Niña le está diciendo a mi mamá que la persona que la tenía le dijo que su mamá ya no iba a volver por ella porque le había tomado fotos en ropa.
And Your Honor, I'd like to commit this as response exhibit number 3.
Judge, I object. There's a number of objections. First, I was not provided that video prior to today, so I don't have any response to that. Second, it would be hearsay from the child. Third, it's not properly authenticated. And fourth, it's not relevant as to the issue today.
All right. I'll sustain all of those objections.
And where are the children right now?
Están lobos y los chiquitos en Tyler.
Have you been able to visit the children in Tyler? Why have you not been able to?
No lo sé, solo los he visto una vez por videollamada.
Would you like more visitation with those children?
Ahora me gustaría verlos en persona.
And no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right. I want to get this straight first. Is the Arturo, is he placed in Tyler? I showed him placed in Lubbock. I'm not asking her. I'm asking anybody.
Alfredo, I apologize. Alfredo Yanes is the oldest child. He's placed in Children's Home of Lubbock, and the two younger ones are placed down south in Spruger, Texas. Tyler is the county.
Oh, what city are they in?
Spruger.
And Michaela, where is that close to?
Yeah, where is that? Let's get it straight before we go any farther. Where is Spruger?
I can look up a map real fast. I'm a New Mexico girly, so the Texas map is a little bit out of my knowledge. Spruger, Texas. It looks like that is near Houston.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then, Mr. Michelson, questions for the mother?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Turner, questions?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Audi, questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, when were you released from jail?
3 semanas.
And since you were released, have you had an opportunity to go to Lubbock to visit with your child in Lubbock?
En 2 ocasiones.
Have you made those visits? And how long were those visits?
Una hora cada una.
And have you had virtual visits with your children that are in Spruger, Texas?
Solo una vez.
And how long was that visit?
Como 10 minutos porque mi niña estaba muy triste y decidieron terminar la llamada.
And do you have transportation to be able to drive to Lubbock? Do you have transportation where you would be able to drive to Spruger? Are you working currently? So you have time so that you could drive to Spruger to visit with your children there. And you have just begun trying to work your services? You haven't completed all of your counseling classes?
No, porque no me ha contestado la persona.
Objection to anything past no is non-responsive, Your Honor.
Sustain.
And then you have not taken a parenting class.
La trabajadora social no me ha dado nada, ninguna respuesta a eso.
How long were you in jail?
Meses y medio.
Is it true that you were in jail and your spouse is in jail for child pornography? Absolutely, sure.
All right, anyone have further questions for the mother?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Giannis, have you talked with your husband since you've been released? And you would let the service workers search your phone and follow any recommendations provided by the department to eventually have the children placed with you.
Yes.
Your Honor, no further questions.
I'm sorry, what?
No further questions.
Anyone else have questions for Mom? All right.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Kirksey, if I can bother you one more time. What,
Yes, sir.
will you spell the name of the town where these kids are?
SPRUGER.
Okay, Spruger. Okay. All right. Ma'am, can you hear me? This is Judge Graham. All right. Are you telling me, are you able to travel to Lubbock weekly to see, let me get my notes back here, to see Alfredo? And how often would you be able to travel all the way to Spruger to see your other two kids in person?
No estoy segura porque está muy lejos.
That's my point. Do you think if the court were to allow you to have one visit with your other two kids in Spruger a month in person and then have weekly virtual visits with them, can you accomplish all that? Can you get to Spruger once a month? Okay. All right then. Let's see. Mr. Saloff, did you have any other witnesses?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, who's that?
And that's going to be the father of Ms. Giannis, and he's right behind her.
All right, what's his name?
Um,
Sir, what's your name?
Ruben.
Ruben? All right, sir, if you raise your right hand.
Ruben, how many times have you visited your grandchildren?
Pues desde el mes de marzo, pues prácticamente hemos estado aquí todo el tiempo y cada vez que nos han permitido, nosotros hemos estado yendo a verlos. Hay ocasiones que no nos han permitido y pues no hemos estado ahí. Pero
Objection, Your Honor, is not responsible. Yes, how many times?
Just saying. Just answer the question you're asked. How many times?
Mr. Giannis.
Puede ser unas
Oh, sorry.
20, 15 veces. 15 o más.
Mr. Giannis. Oh, sorry. Mr. Giannis, would it be difficult to travel all the way to your other children?
Pues está lejos, pero sí pudiéramos ir a verlos.
Would it be easier if they were in Amarillo or Lubbock?
Mucho más fácil, mucho, mucho.
And when you've talked with the children, did they think they were going to see their mom again?
Pues la niña nos dijo que no, que ella no, y que ellos pensaban que ya no la iban a ver.
Why is that?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
Your Honor, it is relevant because it deals with visitation and whether the children will ever see their mother again. It's absolutely relevant.
Overruled, you can answer.
Y porque así se lo hizo saber la persona que las tenía.
And what did they? And why did they say mom would not be able to see your kids again?
La persona que las tenía, que vivían con ella, le dijeron eso.
Where did the other two children live before they moved?
Estaban viviendo, primero vivieron en Amarillo, luego lo llevaron a Lobo.
And if it's possible, do you think the department should put all the children together?
Claro, claro que sí.
And I want you to specifically answer my question about earlier. Why did the children think they would not see their mother again?
Porque la señora con la que estaban viviendo, así les dijo que ya no los iban a ver.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to what the placement may have told these children. That would be hearsay, and we don't know what that lady's saying. She's not.
Sir, did you hear placement make any statements, or are you hearing it, or is this what the children are telling you?
La niña dijo eso.
Okay, so objection sustained as hearsay.
Since these 6 months, do you think this is placed? I'm going to rephrase, Your Honor. When you personally talked to the children, did they? I'm going to move. No further questions for this one, Your Honor.
All right, let's go down the list. Mr. Michelson, questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Turner?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Albee?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, and then Mr. Saloff, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Albee, any witnesses?
Not on this issue, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Michelson, witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Turner, witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, then. Mr. Turner, recommendations as to visitation?
Your Honor, I don't have any problem with increasing visitation. The children are a pretty good distance away from mom. She has not started her services yet. She seems by her testimony to indicate that she is eager to start those services, so I'll give her the benefit of the doubt there. But I would not be opposed to increasing visitation, especially with the children in Lubbock that are closer, or with the children that are farther away. It's just a little bit of a practical issue.
Sure.
Increasing those visitation
Okay.
hours and times too much.
Okay.
Just for the court's knowledge, we are working on a home study with some grandparents who live in the Dalhart area, and we will hopefully be able to place all 3 children in the same home when that home study is
Is
complete.
that these grandparents that are here today?
Yes.
Maternal or paternal?
Maternal, I believe, Your Honor.
And they're in Dallas County?
Correct.
Okay.
And I would add, Your Honor, I would not be opposed to increasing those visitations, supervised visits with mom.
Okay. All right. Ms. Ledbetter, anything to add for CASA?
We're in agreement with that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Give me just a minute here. All right. This is kind of a mess, but this is the court's order. First of all the mother's visits will continue to be supervised. And I'll order that the mother have 2 hours per week in person with Alfredo in Lubbock, if she can make it. I'll order that mother have 2 hours once monthly in person with Arturo and Alexandra in Spruger, if she can make it. And then I'll order that she have 1 hour weekly virtual visit with all 3 children. Okay. That will conclude the hearing. So basically, I've granted in part Mr. Siloff's motion to modify visitation. So, okay, that'll be the ruling concerning visitation. Mr. Siloff, if you file a motion asking for a change of placement, then we'll worry about a hearing date once that motion's been filed. So,
I will file that as soon as I can. Thank you, Your Honor.
okay, all right. This was our last hearing of the morning, so we'll stand in recess. Everybody have a good rest of your week.
Thank you. Daniel, I'm going to give you a phone call real fast.
Okay, thank you.
We're set here on a
Thank you.
special hearing today. Basically, my understanding is at a request of CASA, some concerns that CASA had about Braden's placement situation. Just so since I'm recording this for the record, Braden is not present with us. His attorney ad litem, Ms. Molinax, is present. CASA's present. Mr. Groff is present for the department. And it looks like Ms. Kirksey is present with us today. And Ms. Kirksey, are you going to be kind of reporting from the department's standpoint?
Can you repeat that one more time? I apologize. It cut out for me.
Okay. Are you going to be sort of reporting for the department today?
Yes, ma'am, I am. The worker's out of state right now, so I'm covering for her.
Very good. Okay. All right then. So we don't really have any witnesses to call here today, so I think we just handle this pretty informally. First of all, let's just get the current update. I know it got moved. I know there was some, controversy isn't the right word, but I know that there were some issues about that. But where do we have him placed right now?
So he's currently placed at Rising Star GRO. He was placed there on the 24th of September. He's doing okay in that placement. We had a staffing with him and we spoke to placement before he was placed. They talked about a lot of different normalcy things that he's going to be able to have. He's playing basketball. He really enjoys that. His grades are looking okay. He's been doing good in passing this last week. He has a couple of assignments that he's missing that he needs to get turned in, but overall he's doing good. They've got it set up where he's able to go and do some things unsupervised, go to the park down the road and go play basketball. CASA helped us out getting him in his last placement to go to homecoming and have a homecoming date and get a mom and just do some normal kid things. He did have 2 runaways this last month. One of them was on the 15th and the other was on the 19th, I believe. He essentially skipped out and went to go hang out with friends. So not great behavior, but it's also kind of a normal thing for us to see these teenage kids wanting to do is go out and hang out with friends and not really listen to all of the rules. But overall, he's doing good in the placement. He said that he likes it there and he wants to stay there.
Where is that GRO?
It's in Houston.
It is in Houston. Okay.
Yes.
Judge, I'd like to add to, I had spoke with placement the first time he ran. I know that they had let the caseworker know, but she called me and she said, hey, he was supposed to be in by this time. He didn't make it. She said on our camera, they thought they saw him come in and then another car pulled up and then he got in the car and drove away. So she said, we're presuming he's ran. He didn't tell us where he's going, so we're calling it a runaway. So she said, he's still not back this morning. Could you try to call him? I did. And he was like, hey, I just got service. He has a phone, only works on Wi-Fi, didn't have a charger, phone died, claimed he didn't have placement's number, all the excuses. And I said, well, they have assumed that you've ran away. So you need to contact them now and get back to placement. He did. He went back. He told them, they talked about it and, talked about the importance of him having his, their number in there, and going out is a privilege. You have, at a certain time you have to be in, consequences for not doing that. And then I think it was just a few days later that he did kind of the same thing. He left. They said, be home by this time. He was not. And so whenever she called me, she was like, he just ran again. And I said, did he run or is he like late for curfew? And she said, well, it's a runaway. So, and so he was kind of upset because he was like, I was not running away. He said, I told them I'm going here. And he said, I was late coming home. And he said, now they're calling me a runaway. And he said, I wasn't running. I was coming home. I had every intention. So when I spoke with him, he just said, will you make sure that they know that I was not running away? He said, I don't want the judge to think that. He said, I really he said, I was out, I was past curfew and I admit it, but he said, I wasn't running away. So I told him I would let you know that. And so I just wanted to pass that along.
So their classification is if he's not back by curfew, then it's automatically deemed a runaway.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, well, I wish I could change that, but I doubt I can.
Right.
Truant, tardy. I like some of those words better.
Right. And like Michaela said, it's typical teenage behavior. Connie and I actually went to Houston last week and went to his school and visited with him. And it was a really nice visit. The school's very small. She said the first day he kind of had a chip on his shoulder, had his guard up. And she just said, hey, I don't know where you've been and I don't know your situation, but around here, you get what you give, and we all want the very best for you. And she said that they had a really nice talk. And she said by the second day, he had let that guard down. She said everybody in the school loves him. She said he's a good student. He comes in every morning and speaks to everybody. She said they have had no trouble with him at all in school. His grades seem to be doing good. He's loving basketball. But the people at the school just had really, really great things to say about him. And I know, one of the things that, Jerry was talking about was how he gets moved and we're never notified of it. I'm very passionate about that, especially with him right now, because his big thing is I want to graduate from this school. I want, he has goals. He wants to stay in Houston. He wants to do SIL. He wants placement close to there so he can continue at this school and graduate there. So this is a big step for Braden to have goals like that, to want to finish school. And so I want to push those and foster that as much as possible. And he has connections around there. He's connected with the last placements, some kids from there and a son from there and the school. So the school has just been really, really great. I think him and placement have bumped heads a few times, but it's pretty typical top stuff. But he is doing really, really well where he's at.
So is he in public school somewhere?
It is a charter school.
Okay. All right. But it's not on campus with placement or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
No.
All right. Is this placement, is it classified as an RTC?
It's a GRO.
Okay. So not as restrictive.
Not as restrictive. They have a lot of different things, which is one of the things we talked to the placement about before it got approved, was that we wanted him to have some normalcy. We wanted him to be able to go out and do things with his friends. He really was adamant that he wanted to be able to have a cell phone. They allow it with good behaviors. So it is a lot less restrictive than an RTC.
Okay. What is the actual kind of living situation? Is he in, is he in a cottage? Is he in, what does that look like?
It's like a big house, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. It feels very home environment in comparison to dormitory style.
Okay. Okay, which that's good. I think that's good for him. Okay, so sounds like we've got him in a good spot, maybe, and that he likes it and that he's doing pretty well. I have no problem ordering that we will not move him from that placement without, approval, without agreement or approval by the court. So if we get a discharge on him, then we got to all get together before anything happens. So, and I'm hoping that won't happen. If he likes this and he's doing well and making friends and, it's, I'm delighted he's not right back in an RTC.
And that's the big thing, Your Honor, that, I know it seems like I'm always the one setting up these complicated orders on things. But that was the issue, is that Jamie and I think Aaron too, there's a lot of the stuff that happens and we don't find out about it until afterwards. And it's been really frustrating. This last move, I guess he was moved on the 24th of September. We didn't get an email until the 26th. This was the same issue that had come up in June. I'd explained to him that, look, I know the Texas Family Code, it has these entitlements for guardians ad litem. It might not say, you must do this, but I told him, I was like, I am opting in. I want to know, keep me in on all this. But there's been a breakdown in the communication. And just to emphasize how much Jamie and I want to work with everybody, we're not here to make enemies. We want to get this figured out. She and I had a meeting with Senator Perry from Lubbock a couple years back whenever we had issues with communication. And he told us then, he was like, look, y'all run into problems with St. Francis not contacting y'all, not communicating with you. He's like, you get a hold of me, I'll make phone calls. People don't ignore a senator. We haven't done that yet because, you know, we don't want it to come to something like that. But that is how important it is to us, that we want to be in on this and we just want to know ahead of time and not find out days later. So I'm glad that he's in a good place right now. They've done a great job finding him placement, but Jamie and I, especially with this case, the family code entitles us to it, and we want to make sure that we are involved in those discussions.
And I think, if I may, Your Honor, one of the big things that we do appreciate is that Jerry has jumped in on this case and he has a very, very good relationship with Braden. So we have gone above and beyond. I mean, we've included you on placement emails, on our placement search, all of those things, trying to keep you updated. I know Michelle was out on medical leave, so Braden's case was kind of getting passed around a little bit. But as far as that Texas code goes, it says that you guys have the CASA legal parties have the right to be consulted and provide comments on decisions regarding placement. To my understanding, I feel that I know completely what you want and your comments and your beliefs and really truly what you want for Braden in a placement. I do feel that St. Francis has reached that burden in consulting you guys and what your wishes are for his placement. For our policy, we have to inform legal parties of a child's move within 24 hours. We did notify you 48 hours, and that was discussed with the worker that was covering the case that day. The day that she was supposed to notify you guys, she was out of town, wasn't even looking at her visits. Looking at her emails, she was out doing visits that day. So she didn't get that notification into you within that 24 time scope, but she did notify you the next day. And like I said, that was discussed with her. But as far as getting, permission on a placement before we place, we don't necessarily do that on any cases. It would be one thing if it was like placing with a relative that we had a ton of safety concerns or a reunification. If that's something that you want, we will try our very, very best to, but it's not across the board that we have to get permission for a placement. The family code says that we have to consult on what y'all's wants are for his placement, and we have done that. And like I said, I apologize for missing that 24-hour deadline, but I do still feel like you guys have been very, very involved. And I feel like St. Francis has worked very hard to keep you updated, especially you, Jerry, because you're so involved in this case on things going on in the case. So I do think it would be unfair to say that we haven't been in communication with you on anything.
Yes, y'all have done a really good job. Michaela especially has been very communicative. I just know that, and I won't speak for you, Jamie. You can chime in here too on your own. But I know at least for me, it was a big shock, and obviously it was very upsetting to be like, okay, so he's moved. I didn't know he was even going to be moving. I'm glad we weren't needing to contact him or something came up in those 2 days. And again, in other CASA cases, it hasn't been that big of a deal. But Braden, I mean, we all know that, day to day, a lot changes with him. And I think that Jamie and I just want to make sure that we kind of have an idea where he's at. That way we know, I mean, like whenever he ran, placement at that point, she was calling me at 7:00 on a Sunday morning, letting me know what was going on because we knew who placement was. So we were able to have those connections. And I don't want there to be a lapse in something like that. And then Braden decide he splits because he doesn't like something when he gets there. Jamie, I didn't know
Yeah. Oh, I apologize. And I just wanted to say this too, just to be kind of clear about realistic expectations on placement. If a child, or Braden specifically, is placed in a step bed, you can just go ahead and mark it that every single hour they're sending out placement requests. Our placement team works even on call around the clock trying to find placement for kids. So it could be the fact that we're not even notified until the next business day that he's been moved. He could be moved if he's in a step bed at nighttime, if that's the case, if they find a placement for him that's willing to take him. So if he's in a placement, you can just assume that we are actively looking to move him.
I will say, I think, like Jerry has said, him and I both are very passionate about obviously every case, but we have a very close relationship with Braden. And I think the biggest, the issue really started when he was sent to the previous RTC. we just got an email saying, hey, we just got an acceptance. Somebody's going to take him. So we're moving him here. We have had kids there before. I actually had a kid the week prior that was just dismissed from there. And I mean, there was just so many problems. And Jerry and I both were like, knowing what we know about this placement and knowing Braden and his, how he is, this is not going to be a good placement at all. And it was like, well, sorry, first thing we got. And I can't remember it because his case has been bounced around to several different people. It was, and I can't remember who it was, but it was basically like, well, somebody said they'll accept him. We're taking it, which I get because he's kind of at the point to where it is very difficult to place him. But we just felt very strongly that this was, we were really going to be pushing him in a negative way to go to this placement. It was not going to be good for him. And, within the first week, how many times had he ran and the issues with placement, and it finally led to a discharge. So that was our whole thing was we are so heavily involved inside these placements sometimes too. We've got kids all over the state. And so a lot of times when it's like, oh, they're moving him here, it's like, that's not a good fit, for him or for her and so and you guys are really, really great about communicating with us about that. But maybe I think Jerry's thing and me especially is just being able to communicate that with you guys. Like, hey, we really, really, really don't feel like this is going to be good for him. If it comes to that and we say that, is there a possibility that you guys could be like, well, let's see if there's something else available?
I would be more than happy to have a staffing with the worker if hopefully we don't have this issue again that we have to switch placements, but to say that before we have a meeting, we need to set up a staffing with legal parties and talk about the placement beforehand. I know that with his last placement search, we were trying to get Jerry in on some of the interviews. So I think that that's beneficial because he has a lot of questions that help out. So, we have no issue whatsoever, including you guys in as much as possible. So that's not a problem for me whatsoever. I can let Michelle know if we have another placement search for him to talk to Jerry beforehand. I don't have any problems with it whatsoever.
Okay, perfect. Well, that, like I said, that was the biggest thing was just it was done so fast and we were like, oh, not good. We hated to throw him to the lion's den. But as long as, and that's what all this is about is for us to be able to talk and communicate and tell you where our concerns are coming from and be able to work them out so that in the future, we're all on the same page. So I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
So, he obviously understands that when he's late for curfew, they're going to treat it as a runaway. And if that kind of thing continues, do we have the sense that this placement might pull the plug on him?
I've spoken to the caseworker over there. I don't think so. They're not turning it into a huge deal. The big part about
We might have lost you, Michaela.
Yeah, she's frozen.
Well, I'll agree with the first little bit she said is that the placement right now, they don't seem to be sort of we're going to wrap your knuckles and send you out into the rain. Like they so far, Donche seems to be very, very understanding and willing to work.
Because, and there's still nothing wrong with someone saying to Braden, Braden, when that happens and you get reported, that puts certain wheels in motion and, you are taking up valuable time of law enforcement and other people who have to get involved in that and looking for you and, takes up. I think we even talked to him about this before about, how upsetting it is to you guys. And then, you're laying awake at night worrying about where he is and, how unfair and how selfish that is. Hang on, let me get Michaela back in. I understand typical. Lord help, I'm glad that I didn't get reported as a runaway every time I was late for curfew. So I guess I was just trying to get a sense of, do they seem, are they rolling with the fact that we got a 17-year-old teenage boy, here, and that's kind of part of growing up.
Yeah.
I think just like Jerry and Michaela both said, they're working with him so far. And like he said, Miss Sweat has been really great to work with. She is very quick to communicate anytime there's anything going on. So that makes everything so much easier too.
Okay.
Yeah, and Your Honor, if I may, and I'm sorry I'm not on camera, I'm on my phone right now. I'm having technical issues this afternoon.
No problem.
In speaking with Michaela prior to the hearing, I think what Your Honor indicated at the start of this hearing, if you're going to order a do not move without agreement or approval by the court, that will solve that problem and will also force the communication. I know Michaela has indicated, I'll describe it as I understand it, as I think sometimes in their passion to advocate for Braden, sometimes Costa gets a little frustrated with the policy restrictions on St. Francis. But I think if we're all talking, we can resolve 99% of those issues ahead of time. And then if we have to come to court because we just can't reach an agreement, that should solve the problem going forward, I would think.
Well, I'm not trying to make extra work for anybody or make it harder on anybody. I just, I mean, Braden he falls into that percentage of kids that, he's just at that stage where I really, really worry that we're going to lose him,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And to hopefully get him in a place where he's happy and he's having some successes with his life, and he's, I think Braden suffers terrible, a terrible lack of confidence in himself. I mean, I think he has low self-esteem. I mean, he not unlike lots of teenagers, but let's face it, lots of teenagers have not been through what this kid has been through. And he's certainly, if anybody had the right to have some low self-esteem and lack of confidence, it would be him. But I just feel like if we can hang on to him long enough to give him that boost, we can get to the finish line with him on a positive note.
Absolutely.
Then maybe we might be able to convince him to even look at, SIL or, something else where we can stay involved and try to help him for another few years. I mean, I know he's 17 and I feel awkward even referring to him as a child, but, this is a child that has essentially had no mentors. He's not had anything consistent in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And, I really worry about his ability to form healthy, quality, long-lasting adult relationships. I'm not necessarily talking about romantic relationships. I'm just talking about normal, healthy coworkers, your next neighbor, just those kinds of every day-to-day relationships, because he's just, quite frankly, he's been dumped on so much.
Well, and I'll say too, to the credit of Michaela and whoever else is on their placement team, where Braden's at right now. Jamie, you can fill me in if I've got this wrong, but he was saying that look, I want to get all my SIL stuff going. That way, if I get kicked out of this placement, I want to stay here because I want to do whatever it takes to stay at this school, graduate from this school, stay with the teams that I'm on at this school. So he really is looking ahead. I feel like in a time that I don't think in a way that I haven't seen him do so much in the past. So the school, if nothing else, has been really good for him. And I know Jamie we were both kind of catching each other whenever reception would allow for a while, but I know she was making a lot of phone calls, getting his pal stuff finally kind of going. So I'm hoping that that's going to get done soon, because I know that's something Braden's been, sort of chomping at the bit for quite a while now.
Yeah, he's enrolled in PALS. Everything is going with PALS.
Okay.
I think he's completed all of his PALS courses. It was getting his driver's license. He's wanting to apply for jobs, and that's the one document that he does not have. And I have spoke with Mr. Watson back and forth several times, and he was unsure. Anyways, Texas Workforce Commission is going to pay for it. And so I got him and placement in touch with each other. They're going to find the place that is close by that they, can get him to. And he's supposed to be starting those classes really soon.
Great. So for the first time in a long time, it sounds to me like, or maybe for the first time since we've been dealing with Braden, he's got some real positive motivators.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
He's gone from, again, going from like, hey, you know what, I think I just want to get a GED to, hey, you know what, I think I want to stay here long enough to finish out football season to, hey, I think I want to graduate from this school that I'm in right now. So it's just kept moving on and out further and further, which I've been waiting to see, and I'm glad we're finally seeing it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm thrilled with that. So, okay, so I'm happy to have the good news. And I think we do everything we can to encourage and let's keep him where he's at, and hopefully he's figuring out that some of that, is on his back too. So, if he wants to continue to stay in school there and play sports and do all that, I mean, he's got to meet those thresholds. So, that's anyway. I'm delighted. I'm very happy to hear all this. So, all right. Well, I mean, I don't have any problem putting the order in and saying, that if there's going to be some change, we got to either have an agreement or, we're going to all get together and we're going to hear it out. But maybe if we're really, really lucky and blessed, that's not going to happen. And we've got him in a good spot. So, Ms. Carksey, I appreciate what I know is probably a great deal of work on your all's part to find this for him, because I know we were really running out of options with him because of his past
Thank you.
performance or lack of performance.
Michelle worked really, 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 really hard and submitted a ton of paperwork on it. So that goes to Michelle. She pushed through on his placement. So
well, I do appreciate it. I mean, it was so important to try to get him into the right thing. So, and of course, Casa, you guys, I mean, I'm always singing your accolades, and I'm so grateful that he has you all, because you guys do develop, generally speaking, I think you do develop a closer relationship, and I think you do sort of know our kids better than anybody, because you guys get the one-on-one and more time with them. You don't have as many kids as the caseworkers got, and I mean, it's the beauty of having Casa involved in our cases. And so, I think Braden will be one of those kids, I hope, that will, talk about you guys the rest of his life and how meaningful you were to him. And it won't surprise me if you don't have contact with him for a very long time. So, I really do appreciate everything. I know he's been a challenge. I know he's been he's been a tough one.
If you just get him Reese's peanut butter cups and Dr. Pepper, he's fine.
When we went to visit, he said, "Did you bring them?" And I said, "No, we were coming out of Houston. We were straight here and we came to your school, so I didn't." And he said, "There's a Kroger 1 mile this direction. Dr. Peppers are 2 for $4 right now." And I was like, "How do you know that?" We pulled up to the store. There's a huge banner, Dr. Pepper 2 for $4. So I was like, okay, well, he knows his deals. So
And Michaela, I want to echo the judge too and say, like, I know that I get flustered. I tell Braden all the time, I'm like, look, I get it because I'm the exact same way. But I don't want you to think that we don't see and don't appreciate everything that y'all do. It really does mean a lot. I know it's a lot of work. I don't know how many kids y'all are juggling, but I really do. All y'all on that end. I get flustered, but I'm just an emotional person. I've always have been. So
well, I appreciate hearing that. And Braden doesn't have a lot of people in his life that will advocate for him the way that you will. So, we're just happy to be a part of the team, truly.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Nothing wrong with people getting emotionally invested. So things sometimes happen when people get charged up. So no apologies from anybody. And I just thank everybody again. And so, anything comes up, let me know, but I'm really, really excited for him. And when y'all talk to him, tell him how excited I am for him, and that, just try to be mindful of the rules.
it's something we discuss almost daily with him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess every kid, but
yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I pushed the envelope too. I was a boundary pusher. I mean, I really was.
yeah, I think we all were. He's pretty typical, but we saw a lot of potential in him, the first time we ever met him, and he has been difficult at times, but it's not him. It's what he's been through. It's what he's been dealt. And so we'll just keep pushing forward with him.
Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate it, everybody. And thank y'all for shifting this to later this afternoon.
Yep.
I really, really appreciate that. That helped me out a lot. So anyway, just keep me posted. Tell him I said hello.
Thank you.
How proud I am of him.
We will. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. You guys all have a
Thank
good
you,
rest of
Judge.
your
You
afternoon.
too.
Take care, everybody.
You too. Thank you.